Welcome to Dove and Dragon Radio. I'm your host, M.L.Ruscsak. I'm here with special guest and children's author, Priya. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me on the show.
Now, where are you originally from?
I'm from Siliguri, so it's a small town based in foothills of Himalayas in India. So a beautiful scenic place.
From pictures I've seen of India, it looks like it would be a wonderful place to visit and have inspiration for books.
Yes. Growing up there, I remember Himalayas were the way for me to know the directions. So if you're looking at the Himalayas, it's the north. So that's how I learned my directions.
Well, that's a wonderful way to do it. If this mountain here is north, everything. Then
so you'll not get lost. See, so first time when I went out of my area, which was I was about 8 or 9, I was like, oh my God, I'm in this place and there are no Himalayas. So how will I ever know the directions here?
Oh, that's a wonderful story. But we have the directions now, but what led you into being an author?
I think when I became mother, I wanted to see more books on values. And values are universal values. But for me, it's more inspired from Indian culture, the values of peace, education, individual, social, and ecological peace. So the basic concept for harmony is we have to live in harmony with each other, within ourselves, and with nature.
Exactly. That is universal, or it should be.
Yes. So this is what I was trying to teach my children. And since childhood, I was writing off and on. When I moved to my career as an accountant, I was as an auditor, to be more precise. I was making audit training materials for the Big Fours. And then again, when I became mother, I started writing stories and material for them. And eventually I started publishing them. So that's how it started. So I was writing, but not publishing. But then I got inspiration from my children to publish them as well. And I'm so grateful that it has been received. So I'm overwhelmed with how it is received.
Well, you're teaching something that we have to teach to our young anyways.
Yes.
And we need more values and virtues in our young now.
Yes.
Because somehow it got taken away.
Yes. The life today has become very fast paced. You don't even have time to stop and think, like, what did you do? While when I was younger, I don't think our lives were so fast. And every day we woke up with 10 things to do. It was just going to school, probably doing some homework, and then rest of the evening for ourselves to play and think and talk to people. But now with COVID more so, it has become so virtual. People are not interacting too much. It's very fast. You often don't have time to spend with nature, with people, interacting with actual people and learning from each other. So yes, I would say in today's time, it has grown even more important to make us realize.
It is. I mean, how much time do we spend on the phone? How much time do we spend on the computer?
Yes.
When can we take time and go in our backyard and hug a tree? That sounds foo-foo, but at the same time, you need to get back to nature.
Yes. And that is also it doesn't come naturally nowadays, I see. Like you have to imbibe that in children, that you can be happy without any gadgets, without any toys, and you are busy while doing nothing.
I take my daughter hiking, and where we go, there's no cell phone reception at all. The first time I took her, Mom, the cell phone's not working. What are we going to do? What if we get lost? It's fine.
Yes.
I'll show you how to navigate nature and not get lost in the woods. It's fine.
So life skills, true.
Yes.
Without gadgets.
Yes. It's refreshing to get away from the gadgets. It's refreshing to get back into nature and to feel grounded to the earth again.
Yes, yes. Spending time with oneself is so, so important, right? And we are missing out on that because of so many other things going on.
Exactly. So which was your first book that you published?
So first book I published was on Indian festival, Raksha Bandhan. It's a unique festival uh, which can be found nowhere on the in the world. It celebrates brother-sister bond.
Okay. Explain this.
Yes, so a sister ties a friendship band kind of a bracelet to brother's hand, and both promises to protect each other for life.
Oh,
So that's a beautiful festival and my favorite festival. I have a older brother, and staying here away from him, uh, that's what inspired me to write that as my first book, because it's just beautiful how siblings relationship is, right? It's really beautiful. You can always fall back on your siblings. And that I wrote, that won an award. And then I wrote a book, ABCs of Virtue, which was all about virtues from A to Z: active, brave, confident, dutiful, ethical, and all these words explained in very simple language with rhyming couplets.
mm-hmm.
And the illustrations gives the example how children can easily instill those values and live that daily.
Very true. If we start off with a child, small child, and we start teaching them as they're little,
Yes,
they will grow up with these virtues.
yes, yes. It's very easy for a child to learn, and that's why that book we made into a board book, so that kids could start very early. They could chew on the book and still learn, because it's never for children today are very smart as it is. Like you can see 6-month old now counting. I have seen children counting. So if they can do that, then how are they young to learn values?
Exactly. I had this, my daughter's 19 now. When she was 6 months old, we had her counting by going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with her fingers.
Yes.
You know, by the time she was in kindergarten, she was reading chapter books.
Yes.
It can be done. You
Yes.
just have to work with your child.
Yes, yes.
So teaching them virtues from the baby from 6 months up is possible.
Yes. In Hindi, in Sanskrit, we have a saying that children are like clay. We need to mold them.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how children are, right? Whatever we give them at that age, they'll grow up to become that.
Exactly. If you're teaching your child all the negative, that's what they're going to grow up having. If you start teaching your child you want better for your child than you did when you were growing up, and you start teaching them better, and you start molding them away from the negative, they're going to be a lot happier and productive adults.
Yes, yes. That's what I've been advocating, that emotional hygiene is also very important. Mm-hmm. We learn about physical hygiene each day. With COVID, each minute. Mm-hmm. But what about emotional hygiene? Because that also became a bigger topic during COVID, right? And right. Still I found very few people talking about that. So emotional hygiene it should be prime as part of education as well. Mm-hmm. Because along with education, giving them professional accomplishments and everything else, everything materialistic, they need to be happy inside. That is how they will create happier world, and emotional hygiene will give them that.
Exactly. I've been saying this for the last couple of years. If anyone's been watching this show for the last couple of years and actually following, you have to get emotions into the schools. You have to get into the mindset of a child. If there's bullying, what's going on with the bully? Let's look at the bully first. What's going on in their life that they're unfulfilled, so they have to take it out on someone else?
Yes.
It's not just a bully and the one that's being bullied. There's more to it than that.
Yes. And it can be easily corrected when they are child. Mm-hmm. as compared to when the bullies grow up, right? That time it is a more difficult situation. While if you just work on the behavioral aspect when they are young, it can be turned around. Where I'm sure it can be turned around.
It can be turned around so easily
Yes.
if we get to the root of the problem.
Yes.
When they're children.
Yes.
When they're in 1st to 5th grade, 6th grade.
Yes.
If we can get them in that age group, a lot of this that we see going on can be changed in adulthood.
Yes, yes. With my publishing company, that was one of my goals, to bring around cultural competence as well. Along with peace education, cultural competence is also important, right? Because we see a lot of cultural bullying as well. And if we educate ourselves about goodness of each culture, the cases will reduce.
Yes. See, this is why I love this show. I have all cultures on the show. Yes. I don't care what culture you are. Teach me. Let's have a conversation. This is fun. You know, you learn. I didn't know about the festival that you have in India. I didn't know about that. That's cool. I want to see it, you know, in some way, shape, or form, because that interests me.
Yes.
Let's bring this together.
Yes, art, festival, food are the easiest way to connect, right?
Exactly. Go to international festivals. Go and share in cultures. Go and see the dances. Take your children to these different festivals.
Yes.
You'll learn so much stuff.
Yes. Yes.
And then we bridge the gaps.
Yes. And cultural bias, as the report says, they already sink in by the age of 5. So we need to share these stories, picture books at an early age to learn about each other before they set in.
Yes, we do. We have the bias of the culture. We have the bias of the race. We have the bias of how people talk. I'm sure it doesn't matter if you're boy, girl, color of your skin, what religion, there's a bias out there for it.
Yes.
We have to get away from that. We have to teach our kids early, like 6 months to 5 years early.
Yes. Yes. And books are very good ways to, is a very good way to do that, because it is kind of an endorsement for children if they see something in a book.
Exactly.
If a parents are saying, it will be like, oh, they say always, right? Something or the other. But if they see in a book, it is now endorsed. Now it has even bigger meaning to what their parents had just said. So books play a very important role in childhood. Like I see my children, they are avid readers. Even my 3-year-old, he doesn't know to read, but he's always in front of books, seeing pictures, understanding what is written.
Exactly. We take the books, we read the books. Now we take it one step further. Now we have an avid reader when they get into preschool and elementary school and high school.
Yes.
Now we can go one step further. We can get away from the negative TV, and we're actually having them teach other kids.
Yes.
Businesses all across the planet are looking to make connections with people. Well, guess what? Divine Connection magazine is helping businesses not only walk in their purpose and passion, but to get connected to their potential. That's right. You've got to connect to your potential, and you can make it happen now, because it is time to know your worth. As you get connected to people all across the planet, Divine Connections magazine will make it happen. And get featured in the magazine today and get your copy now, because there's no other time than a divine time to get connected to Divine Connections magazine.
Isn't that wonderful how we can teach our kids to teach other kids?
Yeah.
It's an infection that we actually want.
Yeah, yes. So there was a term which I learned from my 7-year-old. So he was telling me, so there is a bully, and if there is a person who is bullying, there is a third person as well, whom we called an upstander, who can take the side of the person being bullied and confront the bully. I was like, oh wow, I never knew that term exists. But he read some book on that, and he was like, Ma, there is some person who had some problem in the school, and I was the upstander. I told the teacher that this is happening. I was really proud of him. So that important a book plays role in child's life.
It does. I mean, I have taken my daughter when she was in school. There have been times when there's a person being bullied that she stuck up for the child.
Yes.
Not only got the adults involved, but then stay with the child until another adult was there to take care of the child.
Yes.
This is the power of books. This is why reading is important. This is why we teach values to our children, even if we're not raised with those values.
Yes.
It's easy to teach something that you were not taught once you learn it through a book.
Yes, yes. And picture books are so much fun for even parents, right? For my books, I always give a detailed note and glossary if required at the back of the book. And one of the top reviews, one of the most common reviews I always get is, we love the note and the glossary because it gave us even more insight to whatever you have written. And that speaks to parents as well. Like, picture books are just 5 minutes read. They have that time to spend to learn.
Yeah, we have 5 minutes. It doesn't take long to read a picture book.
Yes.
5 minutes is nothing.
Yes.
Then you get into the 30-minute reads, and then you get into the hour reads. But at the same time, 5 minutes when you're a child on your parents' lap, that's priceless to that child.
Yes, completely.
So how many books have you written so far?
So that I have to count in my mind. So I've written, no, I'm joking. I've written 4 till now, which is published. And 2 more are coming out in September, which is again on Indian festivals, the biggest Indian festivals, Diwali and Holi. So it's called My Diwali Lights of Virtue and My Holi Colors of Cheer.
Okay, what are those festivals? You mentioned that. Now, what are they?
So Diwali is the festival of lights. So basically, we light oil lamps in our house, and it's also the festival of good over evil, because there is a legend behind it which explains the whole story, where Lord Rama got his wife back, and the demon was killed. So that's the whole story of good over evil, and that's the reason we celebrate Diwali. And there is a greater message to it: social peace, ecological peace, individual peace. Again, be a virtuous person, live in harmony with nature and with other people. So that message was there in the book. It explains the science behind the practices and rituals we do, why an oil lamp is lit, why we have 5 days of Diwali, what are the legends behind all those. So it's a fun book. The illustrations are beautiful. Our illustrator Abhilasha Khatri did that with minute detail, with everything. The favorite illustration of mine is the night ceremony which we have when we pray to the idols. We have the deities, Lakshmi and Ganesha, and that actually is the mandir which I have in my house. I made in my house on Diwali. I sent that photo to my illustrator. Can you illustrate this and put into the book? And it came out so beautiful. So I'm really excited. I got great reviews and endorsements for that book as well. It is covered in Forward magazine for the July-August issue. And Professor Ved Nandaji, who is a renowned name in international law in the US, he endorsed the book by writing a review. And the other book is My Holi, which is on Indian Festival of Colors. It's a spring festival, and you splat colors on each other. See? Does it sound fun?
It sounds like I want to join into that festival.
Yes, it's a fun festival. And we know about the fun. Again, this book has the fun. along with the greater goodness, the message of greater goodness, why we celebrate good over evil, the practices, the big bonfire we have the day before this color splatting event. Why do we have that? All these, and the legends behind the festival is also explained, along with the values we derive from them. Because for me, okay, you hear the story, but then how do you apply in your practical life is very important. So I've tried to incorporate in all my books, all my festival series book, a real life incidents where they live the value I have told in the legend. So it's easier for them to practically apply.
Yeah, you have to live with your learning.
Yes, yes.
You can't just learn it and then say, oh, I don't need it no more. No, yes. You actually have to live what you're learning.
Yes, so it's a nice way for children to just show in the book itself that, see, it has practical relevance even today.
Exactly. And we need to continue to do that today with our kids.
Yes.
Share the cultures, keep spraying colors on people.
Yes.
But going through everything that we're going through.
Yes. Yes.
But we are almost out of time. So where can our listeners and our viewers find you and your publishing house?
So my publishing company is known as Eternal Tree Books. Please check out my books on www.eternaltreebooks.com. You can find them on Amazon as well. My latest release was Leaf Talks Peace, which is again on peace education, Buddha's message of harmony. And it has been endorsed by the Dalai Lama, for which I am very, very grateful. And I'm the first Indian author for whose picture book he has written a foreword for. And it's for anyone and everyone who wants to have a library dedicated to peace education in their home. If you are looking for such books, there are very few out there. And my book will speak to children. It has a leaf character on it named Harmony. So do check out my work on eternaltreebooks.com.
That is a wonderful message. And I'm so thankful that you're on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
And for our viewers and our listeners, happy reading.